Hello, welcome to my channel, Small Optics. My name is Jason. Now, as some of you may or may not know, I was very kindly sent these two cameras here, the SVbony 105 and the SVbony 205. And by the way, these were sent to me by Retovix. I'll leave a link on where you can get these in the description. When I unboxed these, I obviously took them out for a test run and got a couple of good shots of the moon. And pretty much said to you, you know, these are great. They grab, you get them out of the box and they're good to go. And you're away doing amazing astrophotographs. And that's basically what I said in a nutshell. Well, my opinion has slightly changed. Now, don't get me wrong, these are still great, easy to use cameras. They don't need no additional drivers, no other installation you have to put into your PC. You just basically plug them in and you plug them in and play. Now, I'll still stick to that, but it's easier said than actually, it's easier to say in words than actually to put it into practice. Now, when I did this video, I was photographing the moon. Now, the moon's a big, bright, easy target, and that's the one I would suggest that you start. That's the target to start with if you do get one of these cameras. Now, this video is basically an awareness video. It's not anything to, I don't want to put you off in any shape or form, but there's a few things that they don't actually tell you about these things in the instructions, and you kind of find them out yourself and you'll be scratching your head so much. Now, the problem comes into play when you start to, or when you want to have a go at the planets, the gas giants such as Saturn and Jupiter. This is where you're going to hit quite a few little snags, to say the least. Now, just in case you've never seen one of these type of cameras or don't know how they work, they simply plug in, there's another lead that plugs into their USB lead, and that just simply plugs into the USB of your laptop. This then gets placed into the eyepiece of the into the focuser, sorry, exactly like an eyepiece basically. You would then download a software such as SharpCap or something like that, which will instantly recognize one of these cameras, and then you get a little window pop up of a screen of everything the camera can see basically. So if you point the telescope to the moon will appear on your screen of your laptop, in theory. Now, like I say, the problem lies when you come into having a go at the planets. Now, you will probably do what I did, and I'm sure this is the way to do it. Like I say, I'm very new to astrophotography. It's only recently I've started doing it because these things are affordable. I've been a visual astronomer all my life, virtually. So what you would do is, or what I did, is I took the telescope out. First off is make sure that your finder is pretty much spot on. This is gonna be so important and so valuable later on to solve one of the issues. But anyway, you'll get your object. Let's say we're looking for Jupiter. We get Jupiter in the finder. We place an eyepiece in there. We get it bang in the center of the field of view. Okay, we swap out the eyepiece and we now place our camera into the focuser. We'll turn around to look at the beautiful picture on the screen, and what do you see? Absolutely nothing. It'll be just a black screen. And this will drive you insane. Trust me, well, it did me anyway. I'm thinking, what on earth is wrong here? So you finish up taking the camera out, double checking, you know, and looking, and there it is. I can see the planet is bang in the center of the field of view. You put the camera in, nothing. Now, don't worry. This is normal, and I've heard this come up so many times now and seen this pop up in comments like saying, why can't I see anything? I'm using one of these cameras, I can't see anything on the screen. Now, the problem comes in of how these things work and how they're assembled. There's a lot of things, reason why it's difficult to find a planet on one of these things. One of them is they magnify quite a lot. Using one of these is like using a 4mm eyepiece, something like that. Okay, and we all know, or you should know, that when you increase the the magnification of any eyepiece, usually that will decrease the field of view, making it narrower and, you know, harder to keep things in the field of view. So that, combined with quite a relatively small chip in these cameras, and it is a pretty small chip, you've just got this battle constantly trying to line a tiny planet, a tiny light like the planet, to hit this tiny chip on such high magnification. So that's the first problem you're going to come across, actually getting the thing on the screen. Now, there's a few things you can do to help you with this. The first one is whatever software you're using, whether it's SharpCap or whatever, there will be a sub-menu, if you like, of a contrast, brightness and color balance. Look for that little altering chart, can't think what you call it, and turn the brightness up full. Okay, simple as that. Just turn the brightness way over, expose everything. That way, you know, when you do come across something, it's really going to stand out. It generally does anyway, but that's just something to try. The next thing to do is if you've got slow motions, use them. Okay, so first of all, do the thing that we said about before, get the thing in the field of view with the eyepiece, swap it around the camera, be ever so gentle, okay? And this is why it's so difficult on basic equipment like this. And this is who this video's aimed at, basically, is if you've got entry-level equipment like this and you're trying to have a go at it. Because, like I said earlier about the camera being very high magnification, or it magnifies things quite a lot. Whenever you magnify an image, you're not only magnifying the image, you're magnifying every vibration that's introduced into the telescope. So if you're, say, magnified, you've got something 180 times magnification, every little touch is going to be magnifying 180 times. So, you know, that's going to be like this. It's going to be just a little touch like that, and the star, the planet's going to be wobbling like that. And that's just one of the downsides of using basic equipment like this. So if you've got slow motion controls, use them. Okay, so we've got the target in view, and our eyepiece, we're going to put our camera in now. Now, very tiny, and I do mean tiny, adjustments with both. And if you can do it simultaneously, so you're moving one and the other at the same time. Now, just do it, go over a tiny area of the sky. If nothing's there, readjust, okay, reset. Go back to your finder scope, have another look, make sure you're there, and then maybe go the other way, just tiny. Now, you can do this if you haven't got slow motions. Another good way is to stand at the actual back of the telescope, okay? Loosen any clutches that you may have off, and just stand it. And for some reason, you can just get a better idea of tiny movements by holding the telescope at the back. Now, if it's a refractor, you're going to be doing that anyway. But if it's a reflector, just hold it like at the back of the mirror cell, if you like. And tiny, and I mean tiny adjustments, because a couple of millimeters is a sweep across the computer screen, okay? And if you haven't got the brightness up and you're out of focus, that sweep you're gonna miss, all right? You're just gonna totally miss it. So that brings me onto the next problem that you're gonna come across, and that is focus. Now, when you finally do get the image on the screen, you've got to get it into focus. Now, usually what you would do in astrophotography is use something like a focusing mask. These are brilliant, okay, they're great and all that lot, but they're not very good when you can't find the image in the first place. Now, if something as bright as Jupiter is a bit of a challenge, just a bright star, you're going to be spending 10, 20 to an hour, minutes, just trying to get the darn thing on the screen. And it's all down to this small chip, basically, and high magnification. So, when it comes to focus, you the best thing to do is wait for the moon to be around. Okay, so when you've got the moon and the planets at the same time, that way you can quite easily find the moon. But even when you try the moon, you'll still be like fishing about, but that's impossible. Why isn't it there then? And the moon will be a lot easier to find. But then get a focus on the moon, okay? Now, once you've got a good focus on there, now remember as well, you're not looking through the eyepiece at this point. You're now looking at a computer screen, should I say. So everything's alien at first. If you're not used to this, it can be quite, and if you've got bad eyes like me, you know, you're up here and you're looking down at a computer screen and getting focused. And not only are you trying to get focused, touching the telescope on an entry-level mount like this, you've got the image wobbling all over the place. Okay, so there's not a lot you can do about the focus side of things apart from the tip of using the moon as a starting point. Okay, that's always it will save you so much time basically. The other thing to do now, if you've got an entry-level focuser like this, okay, that's just what they call a rack and pinion focuser. If you look underneath your focuser, you'll see that there's two usually Phillips screws just here on the bottom. Now, they don't only hold the housing together, they are actually like a little brake or a tension screws, because under there's like an inverted spring, if you like, and it puts friction onto this wheel the tighter they are fastened down. So what you want to do, now you want to do this anyway really, you don't want your focuser to be too tight and you don't want it to be too loose. So just loosen these off so, you know, it takes such little effort and just get that nice fine balance of, you know, the torque on those two screws so you're getting as minimal movement as possible in the scope. Now, another good tip, once you've got focus, whether it's through the moon or if you were lucky enough to do it on a focusing mask or something, mark the focuser. Now, some focusers do have gauges on. If you've got a better quality focuser, have a look, see if it's got gauges on. You can mark one of them gauges. If there's no gauge marks on your focuser, just a pencil, get a pencil, and even if it's a chrome finish or whatever, it will still show up. You may need to use a red light in the dark to actually see that mark. But this is going to give you a good guide of, you know, how far in or out your focus needs to be, all right, because it will be a completely different focus to using your eyepiece. Remember that it's like using two different eyepieces. Now the next problem you're going to run into, so now you've actually got it on screen, you've got it in focus, it's actually keeping the darn thing on the screen. Now if you haven't got a tracking mount or anything like that, it's going to be a struggle, guys. I mean, I'm not going to lie to you. Even with, now this is, I have got the bonus of having a little motor on here. Now this really is designed for visual, just keeping it in the field of view. You can use it for basic astrophotography, such as the planets, because you're taking more of a short video than anything with the planets. You're not taking long exposure stills where a good tracked mount, it's essential that that's precise. But this type of photography, just doing the moons and the planets, something like this is fine. Now, have a look on your mount or in the instructions, and you may find that you can actually buy a motor for your mount. This is the EQ2, and this, I believe, is separate. You buy this separate. They are worth it. They really are. A little simple motor like this. Remember, they're not going to be good for long exposure astrophotography. They're not accurate enough. But for just basic astrophotography and basic, just for visual, just to keep that thing in the field of view, they're worth the weight in gold. They're great. Okay. So if you haven't got a motor, I should imagine you can still do it. I mean, people do these things. I know people use Dobsonian mount telescopes on this, and you just have to basically track it manually by hand. It's a lot harder. But like I say, because we're on this high magnification, you lose it. And it's so easy to lose, honestly, it really is. I mean, this has got a the bonus also of coming with a hand controller, and I can you know, take it left or clockwise, anti-clockwise, slow it down, whatever, just with this little controller. Now I can just lose it using this, and this is like using it a small, you know, only tiny movements at a time. And if I lose the image, sometimes that's it, I've lost it. And I have to start from square one again, fishing around, looking for the planet. So these are the things you really need to be aware of, okay guys? It's like I said, on that first video, when I put it out on these two cameras, the SVbonies, I did say they were plug and play, and I still stand by that. They are for the moon. For the moon, they are brilliant. It's the planets where you're going to struggle with. Better gear, if you've got better gear, if you've got like a lot better mount than mine, I'm sure it's going to be a lot easier. The other thing, I must point this out. Now, some of you are going to be pleased to hear this, and some of you are just going to say, oh, that doesn't surprise me one little bit with you, Jay. And that is clumsiness. Please be careful if you've not used one of these type of cameras before. Now, the problem what I had, now I'm going to put my excuse down to, I'm trying to make a video. Okay, and I still ain't got this video out. I want to do a comparison video, a shootout if you like, of these two cameras. But like a lot of us, the weather has been appalling all year, so I've just had I've not had much chance to practice with these things, to be honest. And so I've got both cameras set up, both in. So I'm swapping cameras in and out. Now, I'm in the dark and I'm filming at the same time. Where do I put the camera? Well, the safest place, I thought, would be on my laptop. Just on the keyboard, you know, a nice shiny slippery surface on the keyboard. Now what happens is the weight of the wire, okay, you've only got to touch it, next thing, bang, the camera's on the floor. So that's just something else to just be aware of when you're messing around, because you will be taking these things in and out of the eyepiece, whether you're using two or not. You know, like I say, just be going through the little steps of finding it to get it on the screen. Put this somewhere safe, okay? I don't know whether in your pocket's a good idea or what, but just put it somewhere safe. Don't be tempted to put it on your eyepiece drawer, because like I say, you think that they'd be pretty stable, but with having this big heavy wire, and the wire's a lot heavier than the camera, it just tends to drag it off. So the proof of the pudding is, if I just take this off, you may notice that there's two different nose cones on this one. That's because the first nose cone, I did this little thing, it comes straight down and went ding and damaged all the thread. I'm actually having that repaired at the minute. My dad's quite good with things like that. He's an engineer by trade, so he's retapping all that for me. And believe it or not, guys, the following night, I think it was, I did it with the 205. I know. I just, I'm sure some of you wish I filmed it, but you wouldn't have liked the choice language I had around it. And I'll show you some close-ups of this one, what I did to that. And this one I got away with. I just did a little ding in the edge. Luckily, the thread still works, but unfortunately on the 105 it was totally ruined. It gouged it all in, so I've got that repaired. So that's just something else. I'm sure you're not all as gourmet and as stupid and as clumsy as me, but just something to be aware of when using these light cameras. So folks, these are the problems that you're gonna find when using these small Astro camera. And I am talking about these smaller chipped cameras. Not all Astro cameras are like this. A lot of them have a lot bigger chips. This is why you pay that little bit extra for them. But I don't, like I said, I don't want this to put you off. I still want you to get out there and have a good go. I still stand by that these are a great practice camera. They'll get you used to using the software, getting used to how to focus by looking at a screen. Rest of things, just little things like that, I think are valuable to prepare you for astrophotography, because trust me, it's not easy, guys. It's not as easy as pointing and clicking a camera and getting an amazing photograph. The cameras are relatively easy to use once you've bypassed all the little problems that you're going to come across. But like I say, the main key to astrophotography is patience. You have to have the patience of the gods. Now, I'm not actually known for having lots of patience, believe it or not. I can, and I've just found that to me, it takes away a lot of the just standing under the night sky and enjoying the night sky. I mean, sometimes I can just, on a clear night, just go out there if it's nice and get a chair and just sit. No binoculars, no telescope, no nothing. Just sit and enjoy the night sky. When doing this type of photography, I just spent so much time looking at a computer screen, actually looking at a blank computer screen and feeling about why this gorgeous night went by. If all that appeals to you and you think, well, I'm good for that, I've got patience of the gods or the saints or whoever they are, then get yourself one of these, because you're going to need all the patience you can get, trust me. Like I say, folks, this isn't a video to put you off buying one of these cameras. It's just an awareness video, just to make you aware of these little problems you are going to run into. Don't worry, you're not doing anything wrong. The camera's not broken. It's just everything I've mentioned. The main key to using one of these or any type of astrophotography is patience. Patience and a little bit more patience. Well, that's about it for another video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. If you like the video, please hit that like. It helps the channel massively. In the meantime, take good care of yourselves, and I will see you on the next one. Bye for now.